I have the suit off and it all marked up, I can go over it with a different colored Sharpie to really solidify the final design line that I want. So all of these markings that are a little bit sketchy, I can look at them now, kind of refine how they're placed, especially the back. Oh my gosh, the back was just crazy. I can just redefine where I want the final mark, and then I will be labeling the outfit how it needs to be cut. I'm using a different color markers so that when I go to cut this outfit apart, I'll be able to tell exactly which line I need to be following. And then what I'll do is I'll just write right on these patterns. This will be yellow, and then 2 circle. That means cut 2. This will be green, and then 2 circle. After all that, I'm gonna put it on again, and I'm gonna test fit it one more time. And I know I've already done that like twice today, but you know what? I'm making this thing from scratch, so I'd rather be safe than sorry. Last go around with the fitting, I swear, and I know it's right this time because I actually had to do a little shimmy to get it up my legs, and that's when I know it's right, when I have to pull it. So, looking at my design lines, seeing how I like them, I think I love it, if I'm honest. I got it perfectly, just acting as a nice little silhouette. I think if I strike a pose, it doesn't wrinkle too much on the tummy. Still has a nice amount of stretch to it. I think I'm happy with it. I am loving this. One thing I don't know if I want to curve this out a little bit more. I don't think I do. I think I like it the way it is. It's a perfect princess seam right now, and I'm not going to ruin it. So that concludes the fitting stage. Now I'm just going to cut it out and pattern it. So now that it's all fitted to my body, I'm actually taking it off, and I'm taking my scissors and cutting along the pink Sharpie line that I drew. Not along the black line, along the solidified pink line. And I'll just cut the suit into 1,000 pieces. Each piece is then labeled, what color it is, and how many I need to cut. So side back, cut 2, and then I'm going to take these and transfer them to paper. So I have a giant roll of pattern making paper. What I do is I lay out the pattern piece, trace it completely flat, mark everything, grain line, pattern label, and then I'll cut it out. When you make your patterns from cutting up previous creations, you always have to add a seam allowance, and since I'm doing most things on the serger, I'm only adding 1/4 seam allowance. Final step with the pattern is to cut it out, and I have a self-healing cutting mat on my cutting table, so I just take an X-Acto knife and cleanly cut out each of my pattern pieces. It takes a little bit of time, but I find it so much cleaner than using scissors. Sometimes I have a specific rotary cutter I use to cut out things, but for the most part, just a good old X-Acto knife works great. I have all of my pattern pieces traced onto paper, cut and marked. And that is how I go about drafting a pattern, how I want it with my style lines. This video is probably way too long as it is, so I'm going to end it there, and we're going to come back and I will go over how I'm sewing up my bodysuit. But all my pattern pieces are ready to go, cut, traced, and labeled. So join me for part 2. Just kidding. My previous video was so long I cut it into 2 parts. So I hope you tune in next time for part 3 of how I make my rogue bodysuit. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you're finding it somewhat helpful.